Hello, my name is Becca Hansen and I work in the Butte College Office of Student Life. And today we are going to talk about how to re-register your club at the start of the semester inside BC Connect. If you've been a club for a while, you've probably done this process a couple different ways, but we have now officially moved all of our re-registration processes inside BC Connect. And we're excited because I think it's going to streamline the process and make it much easier for clubs to re-register each semester. So to start off, we need to log into BC Connect. You can do that by going to the Student Life webpage and using this login button here. And then once logged in, you're going to want to go to the organization or the club that you are re-registering. For today's purposes, I'm going to use the Butte College Spirit Squad Club just to walk us through how to go through the process. So just a quick reminder, only individuals with admin permissions will see this Manage Organization button in the upper right-hand corner here. So the only folks that are going to be able to access your re-register button are folks with those permissions. So club advisors definitely, and if you're president or some of your other club officers have management permissions, then they may be able to see this button as well. Then they could do this process too. I should mention that you can save your registration partway through. So if you can't finish it all in one sitting, you can definitely come back to the form. However, it is tied to the person who starts it. So whoever starts it will ultimately be the person that needs to complete it. But with this process being so much more simple, we're hoping it's something you can do in one sitting pretty quickly. So you can see here that there are some photos and things on our page here. This is your page probably has more officers listed. This club wasn't quite ready to get started, but it will allow us to walk through the process. So I'm going to go ahead and click this Manage Organization button here. And that's going to bring you to this familiar page. However, during an open registration time, so at the start of the fall and at the start of the spring semester, you will see this blue banner appear for your Manage Organization page. This is going to give you the deadline of when your registration is due. So for this spring, it is due Friday, February 19th. So you have until that date to complete this process, and this will stay on this page until that date. After that date, clubs that have not re-registered their organization in BC Connect will be frozen. So you won't lose any of your information, but you will need to reach out to us to make your BC Connect page active again when a page is frozen and is no longer visible to the public. But you do not lose any information. So I'm going to say I'm ready to re-register my organization here. These are some registration instructions that you can read through. Like I mentioned, your registration process can be paused and continued at any time. And you would do that by going to your submissions tab. So when you click your profile up here, you have this submissions tab. So if you got partway through the re-registration process and for some reason couldn't complete it, it's going to save here. And this is where you would go find it again to continue on with your registration. Click out of that. All you really need to move forward with your registration that might be new information would be any new members that you would like to add to your roster. So you probably know that in order to be an active club at Butte College, you need to have a minimum of 5 members. The good news is that any members that were already in BC Connect are going to carry over during the registration process. So you only need to add new members. So if you have 10 students coming over from last semester, they're going to be automatically populated into this form, and you're not going to need to add them again. So that makes it a lot easier. I know in previous semesters, folks have had to try and track down and get ID numbers and all of that. You will not need that. And the only information that you'll need for new members is their student email. So we no longer need ID numbers because all of that information is already stored within BC Connect. And as long as we have their student email, we can tie that directly to their account. So that does make it much easier. And then everything else that's on your page, your about section, your description, your photos, all of that's going to also automatically carry over into your registration form. So you do not need to rewrite your mission statement or re-add your description summary of who you are. That's going to automatically carry over. However, if you do have updates or if your club has decided to change some of that information, now would be the time to do it. So I'm going to hit next. So again, you'll see all of this. If you had an organization description, it's going to carry over here for you. This club did not have one set up yet because they just weren't quite ready this semester. But all information that you've already put in will automatically carry over into these fields. So again, you're really just verifying that everything still looks good. And then I should mention that these are all fields that you can adjust or edit at any time during the semester. However, we do hope that you will do it during your registration process if something has changed so that we can start each semester with accurate and fresh information. For most of you, this will just be a review and you'll hit next. This is an important page. This is a page that we will use to generate correspondence and stipend information for advisors. So we do need to know who is advising your club. For most of you, it'll just carry over from the previous semester, but maybe you've added a co-advisor or maybe there's been some changes. So we just want to make sure we're capturing that here. You are required to put at least one advisor, because that is a requirement that all clubs have at least one active advisor. And then depending on your club, you may have more advisors, and those are optional fields for you below. So if you have a co-advisor, you can add them here. And some of you might even have 3 advisors. You can add that here. If you have more than 3, go ahead and reach out to our office so that we can capture that information for you. You're going to go ahead and click next. And then this is where you're going to add your 5 members. So if you already have members in your BC Connect page on your roster, you're going to see them actually carry over right here. So you can see that I have 2 students carried over right here. That was all that was part of this club at this time. But if you had a lengthy list, they're all going to show up right here. You do need at least a total of 5 participants. And once you get those 5 names in here, you're going to go, it'll turn into a green check and it's going to allow you to move on. And the way I would do that is by adding folks right here. So again, I only need their email, so I can add that right here and their first and last name. And then I can set their position type if I want to here, or I can do that later in the Manage My Organization tab. If you have a big list of students that you want to import during this step, you can add them here. You would just separate by a comma or a semicolon, or you can put them on separate lines. So for this particular club, I would need to add at least 3 more members to get to that minimum of 5. And then when I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And from that page, there will be a review. I can't hit next right now because I haven't reached that minimum, but the final page just is a review of everything that you've put in and then a submit button. Once your re-registration has been submitted, our office will receive it and will be able to approve it. And that step will happen prior to the deadline date for the re-registration process. We hope that you find this process easy, but we do know that it is new. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to our office. You can reach out to Kelly Munson or myself, Becca Hansen, and we are happy to provide additional assistance. Good luck with re-registering your club. We hope to see you returning next semester.